It's 2026, and you're in bed with the lights off, scrolling like sleep is optional, and your brain refuses to shut off. Your phone glows like a tiny flashlight, your room doesn't. You open your banking app for the same reason people poke a bruise. You want to know if it still hurts, because guessing feels worse. The balance loads and your stomach drops. Then it doesn't. $18,000 sits there in clean digits like it belongs to you. You stare at it a little too long, like the number might disappear if you blink. Not small savings proud, real savings proud. The kind that makes you feel taller for a second. Your brain instantly writes a list: quieter rent, a real trip, a car that starts without negotiating, a week where nothing breaks. You're not thinking luxury. You're thinking relief. Then the world notices your relief, right when your guard is down. Your bank offers you a premium card, and your apps suddenly unlock advanced tools meant for serious people. Your feed fills with people your age upgrading everything, like it's mandatory to prove you're okay. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The moment you look safe on paper is when the system tries harder to pull you back in. The Federal Reserve runs a simple stress test in its household surveys. Could you cover an unexpected $400 expense with cash or its equivalent? In the latest report, only about 63% of adults say they could. So if you're at $18,000, you're ahead of a lot of pain. That's why this number feels like a finish line. But it's also the second the game changes. Now you're stable enough to target, but still human enough to tempt. And temptation is profitable. That's how people make it and still end up broke again. Let's name what happens next. This is the safety line trap. You treat $18,000 like a trophy, so you spend it like a trophy. A repair hits and you say, that's what savings is for. A rent increase lands and you say, I can handle it. A few upgrades sneak in and you tell yourself you deserve it. Then your balance is $11,000 and you feel cursed. You crawl back to $16,000 with a few disciplined months. One messy month knocks you to $6,000. You're not failing. You're missing the rule that turns savings into safety. My name is Warren, and I'm obsessed with what money does after the panic stops. This is education, not personal financial advice. Now let's build the level 2 instructions most people never get. Phase 1 felt hard because progress came from deposits, not growth. When your balance is small, the market can't rescue you. Real life keeps swinging a hammer. Transmission, dental bill, rent jump, hours cut. One bad week can erase 6 good months. So when you finally hit a big number, your nervous system relaxes. That relaxation is the reward you've been starving for. But it also lowers your guard. At $2,000, you checked every price. At $18,000, you stop checking because you want to feel normal. Normal in 2026 is subscriptions, convenience, delivery, and just this once spending. The trap isn't one big mistake. It's 1,000 quiet permissions that become fixed costs. After $18,000, two things change at the same time. Your brain changes and the outside world changes. Your brain switches from survival to possibility. Bills stop feeling like cliffs and start feeling like annoyances. Possibility is powerful. It also raises your baseline. You stop asking, do I need this? And start asking, would this make life easier? Meanwhile, banks and apps flag you as worth selling to. They don't make much money off people with zero margin. They make money off people who look stable and sign long contracts. Higher limits feel like trust, but they're also an invitation to spend tomorrow's paycheck today. Now the good news. This is the stage where math can finally help you. On $2,000, a great year is a rounding error. On $18,000, the same percentage finally feels real. Compounding stops being a quote and becomes a lever. But compounding has one requirement. The money has to stay planted. If you keep pulling it out, you're replanting the same tree every season. Here's the next trap. It's the identity trap. You see $18,000 and think, I'm good with money now. So you loosen the habits that got you here. Not dramatically, quietly. A nicer apartment because you can afford it. A monthly payment because it's only a little more. Then your savings becomes life support instead of freedom. Once you look stable, you become someone else's business model. Annual fee cards, upgraded investing plans, featured funds, memberships you didn't need. None of it feels like a scam. It feels like adulthood. But fees are a slow leak that never sleeps. The SEC warns that even small fund fees reduce returns and compound over time. A low-cost index fund might charge around 0.05%. An active fund can be many times higher. On $18,000, that gap can quietly eat your progress every year. It's not one punch, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. So here's the fix. You stop calling it savings and you start calling it a floor. Your floor is the number you do not cross downward. For many households, $18,000 is about 6 months of bare bones expenses. That's why it feels magical. It's not magic, it's margin. Layer 1 is the floor. Cash you can reach fast so emergencies stay boring. Layer 2 is growth. Money that buys future freedom through simple, diversified investing. Layer 3 is fun and options. Upgrades, trips, courses, moves, career pivots. Fun is allowed. It just has one rule. Fun comes from above the floor, not from the floor. If you dip below the floor for a real emergency, you rebuild it before you upgrade anything. The floor isn't a trophy, it's the foundation. Protect the foundation, and every dollar above it finally stays yours. Now the speed trap. Once you have a real pile, your brain asks how to turn $18,000 into $180,000 fast. The internet loves that question because it can sell you excitement, options, meme coins, leverage, miracle picks. One bad swing can erase years of boring progress. So keep the rule simple. Floor money stays safe and liquid. Growth money stays diversified and low cost. Anything spicy lives in a tiny slice of the fun layer so it can't wreck your future. Let me show you two futures with the same income. Two people hit $18,000 in their early 30s. The first celebrates by upgrading everything that felt embarrassing. New car payment, nicer rent, premium cards, and a few small monthly subscriptions. They keep saying they'll invest more once things settle down. Things never settle down. Their balance bounces between $22,000 and $7,000 for years, and work still feels like a cage. The second hits $18,000 and makes one decision. This is my safety line. Upgrades come from above it, and growth gets funded automatically. They use the fun layer to buy options, not pressure. Skills, moves, flexibility. 10 years later, one has obligations and the other has choices. If you hit $18,000, don't celebrate by tearing up the foundation you just built. Make it your line, build above it, and watch how fast your life stops snapping back to zero